Mississippi on the move. Let's go.
Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields are waiting the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master plan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of the Mississippi on the Move podcast. I am your brother Abdul Shahid Muhammad.
And I'm your brother Kenneth Muhammad.
And we are certainly happy and glad to be in, I was going to say radio land, but we're actually in podcast land, right, brother?
Yes, sir, podcast land.
We are so happy to join you all once again. And those who are coming on, our dear sister Audrey, faithful listener, is on. Sister Patsy and my sister Shahida. I shouldn't say sister. That's my queen, brother. She don't get me for that one. I got to get it right. And others, as you come on, welcome to another edition of the Mississippi on the Move podcast. We got a lot going on, man. We are going to be in that great newspaper, the greatest newspaper, in my estimation, the freest Black publication, I would say, in the world, and that is the Final Call newspaper, because a lot of headlines have hit, Brother Kenneth, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir, brother. There's a lot going on nationally, and there's a lot going on locally. Right now down in Greenwood, Mississippi, the family is down there trying to prosecute the case for an arrest in the 1955 Emmett Till murder case. You know, a lot of the people have been named and everything, but we got to get to the root cause of it, and that was the woman who came up with that bogus complaint.
That's right.
That set the wheels in motion. And in this week's final call, there was an article dealing with that, as some people went down into the courthouse, just, randomly looking and curious about the Emmett Till case. And they came up and found that there were actually an arrest warrant issued for her. So if there's an arrest warrant, you know who her husband was, so you know where she lived. Why didn't you serve the warrant?
Yes, and she wasn't the only one mentioned in the warrant. And as a matter of fact, we are expecting a live report. God willing, they'll be able to make this phone call. Our brother of the Black Liberation Movement, the chief executive officer of that movement, Brother Patrick Lamumba Alexander, he is there. My brother Kareem Muhammad is there. Brother Basso Muhammad, the student minister of Greenville, Mississippi, is there. And our brother Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz is also there. And they played a live clip, brother, of what was going on. And they were actually reading the affidavit. And for those that may not know, an affidavit is what is issued to get an arrest warrant. And before you can craft an affidavit for an arrest, you must have what is termed in law enforcement and legal language is probable cause, not a reasonable suspicion. You must have probable cause, enough evidence that would draw one to conclude that a crime has in fact been committed. So to my understanding, Brother Kenneth, they found it in the basement, man.
Basement of the courthouse.
Basement of the courthouse. And the sister, one of the family members of Emmett Till was there, younger sister. She was very emotional about it. And she said it took them over an hour to find it. So the question becomes, who knew? When did they know that somebody knew, of course. Somebody penned it. So that means local authorities were well aware that the warrant existed. Okay, so we're going to get to that, man. But in this final call, of course, one of the big stories that's in the final call newspaper today, and Brother Kenneth, if you don't mind, I want to get this. This is going to be an entire program on the final call for the most part. So we're going to get you in on this. Sound like playing with my toys, man. Don't be mad with me, brother.
I was waiting on you to open up with the axioms and lay the foundation.
Yes, sir. So we need to back up to the axioms. And Brother Kenneth, he keeps me in the lane here, because I'm juggling a lot of things, and I thank Allah for this, brother. So, Brother Kenneth, let's get to these axioms real quick, man. Last week we dealt with number 1 and number 3. The two were connected. The two were analogous. So this week we're going to deal with number 2, which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gives the definition of a slave. And our axioms is what we use, family, to keep these things in mind as we discuss these issues. So we can have a good discussion that's fact and information based, and that's level-headed. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave this definition for a slave. He said, a slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master. Brother Kenneth, what does that mean, man?
Well, when you're talking about a person's being a slave, and automatically the imagery of ball, chain, shackles on the plantation. But when you look at just the definition of the word, individuals whose, activity, his mobility, is controlled by someone else. That includes a lot of people. We would probably prescribe to say that's probably 85% of the world today.
Exactly.
Are enslaved in one form or another.
That's right.
And when you just be able to just sit and think about that, and ask yourself, am I a slave? And if I am, then what am I a slave to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I would add, brother, if our power and authority is ruled over by anything or anyone other than God himself, and the laws that govern his creation and govern proper human conduct, then contextually speaking, we are actually a slave. And the power and authority of our communities has been ruled over by someone else. The political power, the economic power, the social power. They socially engineer our communities in such a way, no matter where we live, even when we are holding the seats of power, they take away the tax base. They make conditions or engineer conditions in such a way that even though we are at the helm, we don't benefit from being in leadership. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that we are in a state of political death. And that's one of the deaths that he is missioned to raise us from. We must become politically conscious and politically mature and sophisticated enough to act in our own best interest where politics are concerned. We got to get away from this blackface because it's a brother or sister we should automatically vote for. We need to have an informed political agenda, and an agenda that serves ourselves as well as others. So, but self first, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad has said to us. But that's our axiom for this evening. Once again, a slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master. So, brothers and sisters, when we're dealing with these national issues that by God's grace, we're going to address or discuss from the final call, beginning with what's happening in Akron, Ohio. The local authorities, they have the power and authority, okay, to come to a determination as to what actually happened, Brother Kenneth. So let's take off with that one, man. This shooting that happened, and it's in the final call, family. So make sure y'all go check it out.
Yes, sir, Brother Shahid. The final call article is entitled "Police Barbarism in the U.S." Again. Anger, disgust, outrage as cops pump 60 shots into a black man in the state of Ohio. Now, that's 60 shots that hit him.
Yeah.
They say over 90 shots, according to their reports.
Yeah.
Oh, we just reporting what they're admitting to.
Yes.
And the mayor of the town said he wants to be as transparent as possible because he don't want to get caught up. Because he know after reviewing it and having different lawyers review it, they strategically release the body cams from the farthest distance.
Yes, sir.
So you wouldn't really get the full effect
exactly
of what that brother did. Because just hearing it, I mean, it does something to you. When I read the articles coming out of the Akron paper, it affected me.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time we hear these things or see these things, but I just immediately went to, man, what was going on in that brother's mind when that was happening to him? He's out there all alone.
Yeah.
Your son.
Yeah.
Your brother and your nephew. Now, here's a brother.
Hit me again, man.
That was working as a DoorDash. And this is what, many college students or young people do to earn money, honest living. He's out there delivering meals. Now, according to what they're saying, now I'm not putting nothing on it. I'm just going by what they said. There was some kind of, I want to say, moving violation or equipment violation, something minor.
Yes, sir.
And all of a sudden, there's a chase.
Yeah.
He gets out the car running away from you. And the next thing, he's shot down. But the dastardly way he was done, it brings to mind that old movie of Bonnie and Clyde, when, the G-Man was ambushed and just kept pumping lead as if to send message to the rest of the bank robbers during that day. And I would like to say this was a message sent to that black community. Now, I want to just say this, straight lace, no chase.
Say it, brother.
Now,
just like
how is it that when black people come in contact with certain police officers for minor things, traffic violation, the light's not on, they stop, then you, all of a sudden, it's like if you're reading from a cue card, I don't know, he's got a weapon, Stop resisting.
It's the same modus operandi, man.
And then when you get to court, you say, I fear for my life.
Mm.
Now, you're the only one that got a gun, but you fearing for your life.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, when you come in contact with us, you're not shot. We end up shot, but yet you're the one in fear of your life. That's the first thing. Now, I want to just lay down a few names. Dylan Roof, Kyle Rittenhouse, Peyton, I want to say Gerndon.
The recent one.
Grendon, excuse me. Now, this is Dylan Roof. He went in the South Carolina church down in, I want to say it was Charleston, South Carolina, and just massacred some parishioners who were worshiping there. Left. They've tracked him down, found him.
No, he's armed.
He's armed to the teeth.
And has killed 8
people that you know of, yet he's brought in unharmed,
without
unscathed. Treated, humanely, stopped according to what, reports saying. You got him some Burger King, I guess he had it his way that day.
Damn.
Kyle Rittenhouse up in Kenosha. Now, he went to Kenosha. He's not from Kenosha. He traveled there. Now, here's a teenager with an AR-15 that just shot several people, walking up to the police with an AR-15
with
hanging,
the gun.
And they just drive by him. No problem. The Buffalo mass shooter going into the supermarket just to get some milk, maybe some chips, something to snack on. And he's stalking black people. He goes down the aisle now because, of course, there were white people in the grocery store.
One white person he turned away from.
Yes, the video makes it plain. When he saw them,
and he said, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, and kept it moving. Did this came over the radio. You know what was going on. He comes out, and you take him in, no incident. Yet I can be driving, dropping off some Chick-fil-A, and end up getting shot 60 times.
And shot at 90 plus.
It's a problem there.
Brother, it's a problem. It's an old problem. Now, here's some of the issues I have with this thing in Akron, brother. When you said earlier, it's the strategic release. Strategic meaning they know the shock value that, the unadulterated release. And what I mean by that is the angle they released, Brother Kenneth, interesting to me, was the officer who appeared to be the furthest from him. In other words, there were officers running in front of him. Why weren't those camera angles shown? Because one of the things they allege is that the brother was wearing a ski mask. I'm just thinking now, to allay any suspicion or any doubt as to whether he was wearing a ski mask. Wouldn't it have been in their best interest to allay whether or not he actually was wearing it, to show a camera angle from an officer who was closest to him?
Exactly.
And there are a lot of other questions because, see, I don't see this through the lens of most people. I know what I'm looking at without a doubt. Know what I'm looking at. And you're not going to convince me, brother, that given the set of circumstances and the facts that are out right now, you allege, they say he shot. His attorney saying he didn't fire no shot. And you use a still shot in the press conference to say that that's the muzzle flash. Okay, what is that? Who can verify that that's the muzzle flash? What about the gunpowder residue test that could have been done on his hands? When you fire a weapon, you're going to get blowback. You're going to have gunpowder. That's standard operating procedure, man. That's nothing that they have to really think about. That's just a couple of many questions in my mind.
And this is the thing, as they try to paint a picture and then give a scenario, because they play on the consciousness of the unsuspecting mind. As when they released the photo of what they said was a gun in the front seat that had the clip out. But they failed to mention that Ohio had just recently passed a law where it was legal
Yes.
for you to have a gun. And
Yeah.
if you out delivering DoorDash in Akron and in certain neighborhoods, you may want to have a gun for your security. So he was doing nothing illegal if, in fact, he did have a gun.
Yes, sir. And another problem I got, brother, interesting to me, that in the picture of the weapon sitting on the seat, you can't tell. I really couldn't tell. I really didn't, couldn't tell whether it was on the front seat, rear seat, front passenger, front driver seat. But it's interesting to me, brother, that in that shot was a spent shell casing. Now, the picture that they showed, brother, it appeared, they said that was the muzzle flash. Okay. Now, it appeared that according to the muzzle flash, the weapon was held out of the window. How did that cartridge eject back into the car? Becomes my question.
Good question.
What, did the wind blow it back in there, or what? I'm not sure, brother. It's just, in other words, it looked too neat to my eyes, the way it was situated. I mean, it's just so convenient that the spent shell casing is right in the seat with the weapon, as though it was placed there. That's just an observation that I made. But suffice it to say, brother, 90 shots, it was 8 officers. You do the math. Divide 8 into 90. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 11 is 88. So that means, on average, each officer fired 11 shots. And then there was at least 2 officers that fired 12. That's if we distribute it evenly.
Right. And what happens, and especially, and I want to just stay with Ohio because a few years ago, and I just remember that one of the victims' last name was Williams, outside of Cleveland. They were chasing a couple in a car, and the chase went on for a while. And when they got there, they dumped over 100 and something shots into the car, and one officer jumped on the hood and emptied his clip right there. And of course, they were found not guilty. And it seems to me that if you're running or if they're in a hot pursuit, their adrenaline is flowing in that particular state, it's like, hey, if you make me come after you, then this is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And that may be one of those unwritten rules, because if you're chasing him, you're trying to stop him. If you think that he has a gun and my life in danger, after hitting him, because after being hit that many times, he wasn't moving, he was down.
Yeah.
You kept busting.
They said he was on the ground and they kept shooting the man.
And then to have the nerve to, it's sort of like you're staging an event. You walk up to this man that is dead, that his body's mutilated, and then you're going to put the handcuffs on him.
Yeah.
Zip ties. For what? What? I mean, why? You're getting ready now to tell a story.
Man. And Brother Kenneth, the reality is this. You cannot, for those that is going to broach the discussion of training and policy changes, I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, straight up, coming straight from me, I don't care what policy change you make, and I don't care what training program you put in place. You cannot train an attitude. The indifference that's demonstrated towards Black life, where some police officers in this country is concerned, is clear and apparent. I don't care what training program you put in place. You can believe that crap if you want to, that there need to be a policy and training. No, I'm not, as your brother, going to sit here and allow you to swallow that. I don't care how much training you put in place. If those attitudes don't change, and they have not changed since our sojourn in this country. So, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad has said, the best and only solution is, in fact, separation. Deal with it.
We're going to have to consider that, family, because here's the people that is totally disagreeable to live with.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
And I was just, trying to put some kind of divine guidance on it. And you search the scriptures, because it gets to a point where it seems as if you are not able to deal with your open enemy. So the scriptures say, shall the prey be taken
Come on, man.
from the mighty,
Sir.
or the lawful captive delivered. We are a prey, Prey. I mean, when you know what that word is, something that is stalked. we are prey. We're preyed upon day in and day out in the inner cities of America, and we become so callous towards it in Black community. When I read the article, what touched me more than just reading what happened to our brother, they were saying 30 people were outside.
Yeah.
30 people? 30 people was concerned.
Yeah.
And the mayor, you know how we able to squash something. Pharaoh in his day had his magicians and his enchanters, and they would go out among the dissatisfied and keep it cool. And now these politicians have certain leaders in our community who are used as coolers.
Yeah.
They send them out and say, hey, we want a peaceful protest. Well, if I'm peaceful and the man that I'm dealing with is not, then we know we not have on a level playing field.
Somebody ain't dealing with reality.
I'm not advocating anything, but what I'm saying, for you to suggest, to tell me how to show my grief, my pain, my hurt, you are being very inconsiderate.
Wow.
You see,
that's heavy, man.
You can do what you want to do to me, but hey, I can't cry too loud. Hey, don't cry loud.
Damn. That's like beating a man with a whip and then telling him how to say ouch. And the thing of it, brother, I have to catch myself, because when you look at this for what it is and understand who and what we're dealing with, it helps me to understand why Paul said the house of knowledge is the house of mourning. Not mourning as in the early part of the day, but mourn as you would grieve regarding a loss. I mean, when you come into a certain understanding that what we see happening, dear brothers and sisters, it hasn't stopped. Every month, every week, every other day. And there are those who will say, well, what about the killing that we're doing to one another? Well, what you are seeing is the residual effect and the manifestation of a people who have been socially engineered to be self-destructive. And there are a lot of variables that goes into that. What you blaming society now? You blaming the victim. No, see, those are dog whistles, if you will, that they give to those who want to come out, that they're sycophants. Yes, that's what I call them. They're surrogates, puppets, and sycophants that they send out to guide the truth in such a way, or to guide the narrative of what is obvious. They did it with the Rodney King beating. Everybody saw this man get beat. And they're so skillful, brother, in manipulating our people, they made it look like he was essentially running into the baton. They wasn't beating him. He was running into the nightstick.
Exactly. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Yeah. I was thinking about something, and there's the article in the Final Call by the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, the speech that he actually gave in 1982 entitled Let My People Go.
Yes, sir.
And where he was dealing with several issues. And one of the things that caught my eye, and I wanted to connect some dots back to what you said about look at what we're doing to ourselves. In it, he talks about the government, but I want to get right to that.
Yes, sir.
And I want to bring to the witness stand Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Y'all strap in.
Addressed a lot of these things. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, they talk about I Have a Dream and the Civil Rights Bill. That's 1963, 1964. Right. But here's a man that was assassinated April 4th, 1968, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Where was he at then? Where was he was going? Because sometimes, and according to this article in the Final Call, and again, if you don't have a subscription, subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. That's right. If you're out riding and you see those beautifully handsome brothers neatly dressed with that newspaper, stop and get you a copy.
Come on.
And they're not out there selling the paper. We're independently operated. Your donation, it goes right back into the printing.
That's
and the
right.
cost of that paper. But if you don't have one red penny, I don't know one brother that won't give you that newspaper.
That's right.
And that is a vehicle and a mechanism of truth that we need today.
Excellent, brother.
Now, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., while speaking to the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, on August 15th, 1967, this was what they called that Red Summer, where you had riots going on in the inner cities, National Guard coming out. The time there was a high unemployment, poverty. Some of the conditions that we're looking at right now was the same then as they are now.
Yes, sir.
Now, Martin Luther King said this, and I'm going to read a couple paragraphs, so bear with me.
Go right ahead.
Dr. King said, "A million words will be written and spoken to dissect the ghetto outbreaks. But for a perceptive and vivid expression of culpability, I would submit 2 sentences written a century ago by Victor Hugo. If the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who causes the darkness." Dr. King goes on to say, "The policymakers of the white society have caused the darkness. They created discrimination. They created slums. They perpetuate unemployment, ignorance, and poverty. It is incontestable and deplorable that Negroes have committed crimes, but they are derivative crimes. They are born of the greater crimes of the society. When we ask Negroes to abide by the law, let us also declare that the white man does not abide by the law in the ghettos. Day in and day out, he violates welfare laws to deprive the poor of their meager allotment. He flagrantly violates building codes and regulations. His police make a mockery of law. He violates laws on equal employment and education and the provisions for civic services. The slums are the handiwork of a vicious system of the white society. Negroes live in them, but do not make them any more than a prisoner makes a prison." Dr. King says this, "Let us say it boldly, that if the total slum violations of law by the white man over the years were calculated and were compared with the law breaking of a few days of riots, the hardened criminal would be the white man."
Man, reading that, brother Kenneth.
That's Dr. King.
Reading that again today, brother, I just sat here and just sat in silence and just really drank that in and let my mind, reflect on the events of the now today. And every word, brother, is relevant in real time right now.
Yes, sir.
In real time, because I think about the apartment complexes, the Section 8, how they violate the codes, people getting put out. I was listening at a news cast yesterday where somebody came by a sister's, I can't remember the complex. Her car gets shot up. Now she lives in the complex. Somebody comes and shoots her car up.
Yes.
And they put her out. They're evicting the woman, but she's a victim.
Wait. She gets put out
because somebody shot her car up. She files a police report. Police make the scene. She's clearly the victim. She don't know who shot her car up, but the apartment complex is evicting the woman.
Wow.
They violate the meager allotments of the poor. Yes. And it's happening. And then the police making a mockery of the law. We keep seeing these things, man. Yes, and let's be real, brothers and sisters. Because this thing, man, if you're a black human being living in America, I don't know how you can countenance turning a blind eye becoming an apologist for this kind of behavior. All of us know full well if black officers did what you see being done to black people, if black officers do that to white victims, this country would be turned upside down. And you all know that. You're not going to tell me that you don't know that. I would not believe you. You can tell me, but I don't believe you know full well that if those roles were reversed and the predominance of these victims, like this brother in Akron, Philando Castile, Mike Brown, Eric Gardner, Trayvon Martin, if all of those victims were white and the perpetrators were all black officers or black people, we know there would be a completely different response to this.
It's unimaginable, you would think, in 2022 is dealing with this. Now, what he was saying, this is in 1967. Man. Now, Dr. King also said that he had identified 5 major causes. This is what he said. After establishing the general cause of outbursts, it is possible to identify 5 immediate causes. Number 1 was the white backlash. Backlash to what? And he says unemployment, general discriminatory practices, war, and features peculiar to big cities, crime, family problems, and intensive migration.
Man, see, it's
like a playbook, ain't it?
It's like it's happening right now. Oh, man, we getting that call, man, from our brother Lamumba. Peace and power. Get our brother in here. Peace and power. Hold on a second, brother Lamumba. I should be getting you. Hold on. Why am I not getting him on the... I don't hear him coming through the podcast. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Lamumba. Brother Lamumba, you there? Hold on a second.
We're trying to get Patrick Lamumba from the Black Liberation Movement, get him and connect him so he can give us a up-to-the-minute report on what's going down in Greenwood, Mississippi in regards to the Emmett Till case. Give us 1 second. You got him there yet, brother? Brother Patrick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Brother Ken.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
How you doing, big bro?
Power and peace to my brothers, the mighty warriors.
Oh, man.
The mighty warriors.
Man, you boots on the ground down in the Delta, man. Brothers and sisters, this is our brother and friend, the executive director of the Black Liberation Movement out of Coldwater, Mississippi, a brother who has been working night and day and night along with Sister Crystal and others, trying to do something to liberate our people. Our hats are off to him in much respect, and he is like our twin. So, Brother Patrick, thank you first for calling in, brother. And if you would give us a report, we've prepped our listening audience, a report of what's happening down there in Greenwood, Mississippi.
Thank you, brothers, and I appreciate you, brothers, likewise. But to give a report on what took place today in Greenwood, we went to exact justice today. We went down, of course, I'm sure that you have already explained to the audience that the warrant had been discovered for one Carolyn Bryant Dunham.
Yes.
This is the lady who accused Till of whistling, fondling, or whatever it was that she accused him of back in 1955 that led to his murder. His assassination, his lynching, or whatever you want to call it,
yes, sir.
That took place. That egregious, polarized, and most famous murder.
Yes, sir.
That sparked the whole civil rights era.
Yes, sir.
Well, we went down the day after this warrant was discovered a couple of weeks ago. We went down today to exact justice, and we are on the road to doing that.
Yes,
the powers that be. They don't want to execute this warrant. They don't want to go through the process. They already exemplified this type of behavior. It's going to be up to us, the people, to basically force the action and force the hands of those that hold the power to extradite Carolyn Bryant and back so that she can serve due process and go through due process of law.
Yes, sir. Brother Patrick, you said they're exhibiting. What has been their rationale for exhibiting this behavior? What are you hearing from them in terms of their hesitance or the posture that clearly that I knew they were going to take? What excuse are they making for not serving the warrant? Have you heard?
Well, one thing that I know that the DA is expressing is an expiration of the warrant, which is something we've never really heard of. You know, and an expiration of a warrant, we know there's no statute limitation on murder, nor is there statute limitation on kidnapping.
Exactly.
So, no doubt. So they are talking about expiration of warrant effectiveness or some type of language they're using. And I think it's just a deterrent, and it's just the state of Mississippi through the capitulation of black leadership, which is a black district attorney that's holding the position and pretty much holding the keys to justice in this matter, that's exemplifying this type of behavior and using this type of language right now. But we hot on the trail, brothers and sisters.
Man.
Yes, when you said that they're trying to get out of it by saying that there was an expiration date or time on the warrant, then if that's the case, then warrants, from my understanding, can be reissued and there's no statute of limitations on murder. So this obviously was a murder. And we know there was kidnapping first and there was murder. We know that. We saw the results of that. And so if this was the key participant, and I say key because she set it in motion. She knew all she had to do was make that false claim, and then based on the historical fact of what was done to black people when a white woman charged them with anything, let alone physically abuse, touching her or making some kind of sexual move, then what happened, she knew what's going to happen. So she's responsible. She's culpable.
That's right.
You know, what's the term they use? Criminal responsibility?
Yeah, criminal responsibility.
So
exactly.
She got to pay what she weighed.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a warrant, you issue it, you serve it, there's an arrest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't go, that's just the entry level.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got to trial or conviction, but everyone knows, the history shows, and based on what I read in the final call, she admitted that she lied. She admitted that she told a lie that caused the brutal murder of a 15-year-old. 14-year-old.
Yes,
Thank you. So that has to be, you got to answer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
That's right.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says that justice wakes up with us and justice lay down with us. And so now she had to be called to the bar of justice and then let a group of her peers decide her guilt or innocent. But at least you can reissue the warrant and arrest her.
Mm-hmm. I agree with
That's not asking a lot.
That's right. Brother Patrick, man, I agree with what you're saying, brother, it's going to be up to us, brothers and sisters, to press this issue. And here's one of the main reasons I say this. They have a historical marker for the site where Emmett Till was murdered or slaughtered. And whites, young and old, have been going down there using a historical marker of the murder of a 14-year-old child for target practice. So much so that they had to remake the marker twice. And the third time they remade it, they had to make the thing bulletproof. And this is, and some of the students were young college students. They took a picture and posed in front of the thing, man. So, brothers and sisters, see, I'm sorry, y'all bear with your brother today, because I'm not going to be quiet. How in the world, and I didn't want to use the word world, Would you think that these people of their own free will are going to do right? If we are sitting around expecting them to do the right thing, and that includes those brothers and sisters that have been given, as you characterized it, brother, the keys. They only give keys to those among our people who they know will use those keys or that seat of power or that lever of power in a way that will not offend them. And that's
right.
That's why this district attorney, who is our brother, is hemming and hawing, because he know he has certain boundaries that he must stay within, and that speaks into our axiom. A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master. It doesn't matter if you are a black DA, a black judge, a black whatever, a black president. They still expect us to function within the sphere that they prescribe for us, man. And that's just it. So so anything else you need to add, brother? I mean, the mic is yours, Brother Pat. And then Brother Kenneth want to ask him something.
Let me ask you a question. You can speak to this, Brother Patrick, for our listening audience. What is the mood? What is the tone down there in Greenwood of the residents?
Yeah, good question.
Okay. And that's a great question, brother, because that's one of the things about Mississippi on the Move. Our agenda is to inspire our people, to liberate ourselves. Reform comes from the top down. Revolution comes from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So our agenda is to make the people of Greenwood understand. We would be surprised to understand how many people don't know what's going on right now. How many people don't know the ramifications of what's going on right now. And that's our job, is to inspire our people to action. So with that being said, Brother Kenneth, I thank you for that. We have to look at this. One word, humanity.
Yes, sir.
Humanity. We on trial today for our own humanity. And what we did today was taking a step toward our humanity. I told the people today that history does not run in a linear line. It runs in spirals. And so we have come all the way back to Emmett Till. When I talked to some of the family members, they said that it was Emmett's spirit that led them to the warrant.
Wow.
Okay? So they said it was Emmett's spirit that led them to the warrant. So we're talking about a brother whose life was brutally taken from him in 1955.
My God.
Sparking a civil rights movement. I mean, seriously, the most polarized lynching in Mississippi history is the Emmett Till, most famous. I'm not saying it's the only one. I'm not saying it's plenty of them that we don't even know about and those that we do know about. But this was the one, because of Mamie Till's commitment. Wow. And when she wanted to show the world, she said, open that casket up. Let the world see. Let the world see what they did to my son. And it became the most polarized murder. Wow. And it sparked the civil rights era. So now, brother, we come all the way back around. And now, what are we going to do? We're talking about our humanity. We're talking about the difference between the Caucasians in the system. Their humanity being respected to the point where they didn't pick Carolyn Bryant up. There was reason behind it. They were read. What was read from the, I think you said the affidavit, brother, I think I had stepped out at that moment, but what was read was that they didn't pick her up. She wasn't there. I had heard corroborated statements that say that they didn't pick her up because she had 2 children.
Yes.
But think about that.
Man.
But you're talking about a black boy, 14 years old. And I know that I have heard accounts from different people who have told Emmett Till history to me. Mayor Johnny Thomas being one, who is the curator of a Emmett Till museum right down there in Glendora, Mississippi. He told me, he said that Uncle Mo petitioned the white mob that came to the door that dreadful day and said, send that boy out, or we coming in to get him. Uncle Mo said we were going to put him on the train in the morning. If y'all would just spare him, to put him on the train back to Chicago in the morning.
Lord have mercy.
They wouldn't have it there. We're talking about humanity. And that's what we at right now, brothers and sisters. Man. We at a point But we have to stand up for our own humanity because we have black people that's in these places, in spaces today. We got to remove that coon from the places that they are. God the gate for white supremacy, rule and domination of our people. And the day for that is over.
Yes, sir. Brother Patrick, man, I want you to know, which I'm sure you already do, but I want those who are listening to send the word out that this podcast, the reason we established it, brother, is because we understand, and as you understand, our brothers and sisters in Mississippi need a platform whereby they can get their message out. So we started this with BLM in mind, with Yaga in mind, with the Panther Party in mind, with every black organization, civic, and those strong clergymen. I use the adjective strong clergymen that are willing to stand and make a stand in this fight. Whether, no matter where you're coming from, if you are struggling, we open the doors of this platform for our people to come on and give a report of what's going on. And you are the genesis of it, Brother Patrick. What you are doing tonight, brother, is powerful because you're a powerful brother, and we appreciate you for giving us a report and for coming on to this platform, because your voice and other voices down in the Delta are voices that must be heard. You know, and this is the medium, and this is the technology, brother, that we are striving hard to use to ensure that our brothers and sisters are not drowned out. And in Mississippi on the Move, and to our audience, you all know, we told you at the beginning, Brother Patrick is one of the men that is the brains behind the start of Mississippi on the Move. We made sure our audience knew, dear Brother Patrick, at our inaugural broadcast, that you were one of the men, myself, you and Brother Kenneth, that started Mississippi on the Move. And you are the brother that began to facilitate the town talks that have been going on. So man, just know and spread the word to the different organizations and brothers and sisters down there in the Delta that when they need to get their message out or want to get their message out, this place is a home for them. This is a tree that has a branch where they can find shelter and refuge in, my brother.
No doubt, my brother. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate my brother Kenneth so very much. And I'll say this in part.
Yes, sir.
To the people that listening, the listening audience. When you hear these two brothers, when you see these two brothers, look at them. These brothers are inspired. These brothers have walked side by side with the brothers. And I know that their spirits are prepared, their spirits are right to do what needs to be done for our people. We at a point right now, we at a junction, at a paradigm shifting junction. And it's going to take manhood and black womanhood to make sure that we get this shift, this paradigm shift that's needed, that's so needed. So I appreciate you, brothers, for sticking with us.
Yes,
I appreciate you, brothers, for doing whatever it is that you're doing in whatever way that you're doing it, because I know you're guided. I know you're guided. And you're some precious brothers, and I want everybody to look at these two brothers, because these are some powerfully inspirational brothers, and y'all have been an inspiration to me. So I thank y'all for having us on. Let's stay connected. Let's keep pushing.
Yes, sir. And also, Brother Patrick, no, man, whenever you want to come to these microphones, man, all you got to do is make a phone call, you and Sister Crystal. All right?
No doubt. No doubt.
Okay,
no doubt,
brother. All right, brother.
I'm going to get on in, man. I need a little rest.
Yes, sir. The soldier needs some rest, man. Peace and power, Brother Patrick.
All right.
Peace and power, man.
All right. Power, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Man, that was our brother Patrick Lamumba Alexander, the lion of the, I call him the Black Panther of the Delta. He is relentless in his pursuit of justice. And we back that brother 1,000%. And we understand, dear brothers and sisters, wherever we're struggling, understand that we are comrades at arms, okay? We don't have the luxury, brothers and sisters, in this day and time, and looking at idiosyncrasies and minor things and using them as an excuse to stay disunited. Anybody that's thinking and talking in that way don't understand, so we must move on. So once again, Brother Patrick, man, thank you. And thanks to the listening audience. Brother Kenneth, man, that was That was an excellent report.
Oh yes, sir. And Brother Patrick, he's a frontline soldier.
Yeah.
A general, of course, but he's the type that leads from the front. And it's time now to eliminate excuses.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things, as he was explaining that, and I just kept hearing things that we say, because, we prove how beautiful people we are.
Yes, sir.
Our nature. Because there's nothing beautiful, according to the most humble Elijah Muhammad, in rebellion.
That's right.
But the thing about it is this. We'll say, well, she's 80 years old now, and she's, it's not much to do. But I want to point something, because we, as partners, and I'm just going to say it, and then we can deal with it at another time.
Yes, sir.
But the Jewish community, who we are in a relationship with, let's just go back to the Holocaust. And when they identified the Germans who had fled, some of them had even made it over to America.
Yeah.
In Cleveland, Ohio, different places. 85, 90, I think one was 94 years old. But when they found them, when they located them, they came, they got them, they prosecuted them, and then they executed them.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
And the point I'm making is they didn't care about how old they were.
No, sir.
You engaged in a dastardly deed.
Yes.
The murder of millions of Jews.
Yes.
You don't get away with that.
And don't nobody hold that against them.
No, it's their motto is never again. So, let's take up that mantra, never again. So you did this. You did this on your own.
Yes, sir.
You, for whatever motivation, maybe you wanted to see how much your husband Roy loved you or whatever, but you did this. Exactly. So serve the warrant. That's minimal. I don't even hear nobody cry, for justice. Of course we want that. But right now we're saying serve the warrant.
Go pick her up.
Yeah, pick her up. Just let's do that.
And Brother Kenneth, man, my mind goes what you just said about the Holocaust. My mind also goes to Bill Cosby, brother. They had no misgivings about locking up an 80-something-year-old blind man.
At all.
And he didn't commit murder, and that's certainly not to minimize what they say happened with the women. But they had no misgivings. They was indifferent to the fact that this man is in his 80s and he can't see. So that did not hinder the prosecutor from issuing the warrant. That did not hinder them from sending the fugitive squad out to pick him up and to put him where the law says he should go. So why should we or any of us have misgivings about the age of the offender? Nah, I'm not trying to hear it.
A lot of times, Brother Shahid, when we make those statements, it's just a cover to hide our cowardice.
Come on, man.
And now is not the time for cowardice. Now is the time for bold men, bold leaders. And that segues into this last article I just want to broach in the final call. I don't know if it's time for we make a few announcements, brother, in a commercial break.
We coming up 2 minutes till commercial break, and we break at 8 o'clock on the top.
Yes,
so you can go ahead and introduce it, brother. Then we'll commercial break. Then we'll come back with you, sir.
I want to come back with the article, Let My People Go. And again, this week's final call by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, an article in which he spoke this speech in 1982, but it's still relevant. And in it, he was talking about the need for good guidance.
Yes, sir.
And he was saying that whenever we have a leader, he's always misrepresented or misunderstood.
Yes, sir.
And we can't trust the mainstream media. We can't trust the government of the United States to properly represent our leaders. He says they give us personality.
That's right.
They allow us to celebrate their birthdays, have parades, but we're so far removed from the man and the program. So we get personality, but we don't have the programmatic thrust of an individual's idea whose time has come.
Yes, sir. Man, that was very well put, brother. And I appreciate that. So, brothers and sisters, you are listening to the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Again, I'm your brother Abdul Shahid Muhammad, along with
Kenneth Muhammad.
We will be right back after these commercial messages.
Mississippi on the move.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reporting?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your number one free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Mississippi on the move.
Yes, we are back live here at the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Brothers and sisters, those who have tuned in, shouts out to you all. Thank you all so very much for joining us this evening. We just got a very, very powerful report from our brother, as I affectionately call him, the Black Panther of the Delta, Brother Patrick Lamumba Alexander of the Black Liberation Movement. So we're going to move on to the next segment of our program, coming from our brother Kenneth Muhammad with more from the Final Call.
That Final Call newspaper, the baddest, boldest, most enlightening newspaper on the planet.
It sure is. Call y'all 662-252-8999. That's Holly Springs Study Group. Call that number, 662-252-8999. If you live in Holly Springs or the immediate area, leave your information. We will deliver it to you weekly.
Now, I want to just lift a few words that Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan before we close out. Because, again, I want to offer our people an alternative. Because sometimes, you know, we're right to point out the issue. But if we point out the issue without offering a solution, then we're sort of like, you know, the mainstream media. We're just a little one-sided. So we want to offer something to you. And then just let you look at it, you know, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a lot of things very simply, yet so profound. And one of the things he said that I love to use quite frequently is this, brothers and sisters: put a clean glass next to a dirty glass and then let the people choose. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, my task as I see it is to properly represent the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Black people in America and throughout the world. Why must Elijah Muhammad be properly represented? It is because that man and that man alone holds the key to our victory over mental death and our victory over the hell that we've suffered in our 400-year sojourn in America. And since Elijah Muhammad is such an important man to our future and the future of the world, it is necessary it is proper that he be properly understood.
Wow. I would agree 10,000%. Properly understood. He holds the key. And it's interesting, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, before he departed from among us, he delivered or asked the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to deliver a message on this man. Have I laid the key? So that's big, brother. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan, as he stated, as you read, brother, his responsibility is an immense responsibility. And those of us who are his students and his helpers, that responsibility extends to us to help our people understand him, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
But the thing that we have to ask ourselves now is, if he's not properly understood, then why?
Now
he goes on to say in the same article that it is not in the interest of the United States government and her agenda that any true leadership for Black people be properly understood or seen in a proper light. Therefore, this government and her agencies have worked night and day to destroy the image of proper leadership for us, and they have worked to give us leaders that they themselves control.
There it is again.
Isn't that what brothers down there in Greenwood was talking about, right?
Exactly, brother. That's it. The DA in Greenwood has the keys, if you will, as Brother Patrick characterized it, to unlock the door of justice, but because he's under their control, he won't.
Now listen to this, family. He goes on, he says, but anyone that speaks a word that the establishment feels dangerous, the establishment wants you to misunderstand that kind of man. We misunderstood Marcus Garvey until long after he was gone. We misunderstood Noble Drew Ali. We misunderstood W.E.B. Du Bois. We misunderstood Booker T. Washington. We misunderstood Frederick Douglass, David Walker, Denmark Vesey. We misunderstood all our giants. And it is not until these giants have gone that the establishment feels you can get a proper understanding, because you're too far removed from that person to properly act on the principles that the man or woman taught us. So what they do when they lift up that kind of leader, they give us a personality, but never a program. So you can always have birthday celebrations for the great leader or the great teacher, but never concentrate on programmatic steps that will lead us to the goal that the leader had in mind for us.
Man, powerful words from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So glad you lifted these words. Brothers and sisters, I hope you all are paying attention. They don't mind us having days, and they'll give you time off. They'll make a national holiday. They'll give you paid leave. But as long as you don't take on the program and the mission of the man, because see, you can't do that. Because see, brothers and sisters, there's a scripture that reads, see, the person is gone. We're so far removed from them, and they're not here to make a demand on us. You know, the demand to take on the cross, if you will, or the mission and the program that they were espousing and trying to develop and establish. So the scripture says this, you know, we honor all of our dead. And I'm wondering, will we do the same by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? Wait till he's gone. Now you want to honor him. But the scripture says that a living dog is better than a dead lion. You know, and that scripture to me is powerful in the sense that it makes you to understand that the lion is gone, because dead people can inspire us, but they cannot lead us. And unless we pick up their program, only then can that person be reanimated in the person of those who follow his program. So as the Quran says, speak not of those who are slain in the way of Allah as dead, Nay, they are alive, but you perceive not. And they are alive, I would say, dear brothers and sisters, because those who were their companions, those who read about and study them, they take on the mind and the spirit, but not only the mind and the spirit, they pick up the mantle of the program that those brothers and sisters had and make it real. That's how I see that, brother. And that's what we got to do.
Great point, great point. And I just want to add, history is best qualified to reward our research. Let's look at the leaders that is promoted on a national level, given holidays, talked about in school. And I want to say this to our listeners and to us, you know, to the Black nation.
Kareem Muhammad.
That's my brother.
Pay attention to some of these white conservative talk shows. I'm going to put a pin in Brother Kareem's calling in. Let me know when you got him ready.
He's ready now. Let's get Brother Kareem. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Man, I called you earlier, brother. You're live on the air, Brother Kareem, whether you know it or not. I hope you don't mind, do you?
No, sir, brother.
This is the Mississippi on the Move podcast. You are listening to the LOC, the organizer from Greenville, Mississippi, Brother Kareem Muhammad. Brother Kareem, we just had Brother Patrick Alexander on, who gave us a report from what was going on in Greenwood, Mississippi. And I saw you in the camera frame and I called you first, but I couldn't get you. And I wanted someone to give us a thumbnail sketch. And brother, we got about 3 minutes for you. No, I'm sorry. We got a good 5 minutes, brother, that we can give to you to give us a report from Greenwood, Mississippi, because I understand, brother, you were there with Brother Malik Zulu, with Brother Patrick Alexander, and others. So, brother, go right ahead, Brother Kareem.
Yes, thank you, Brother Shahid, for definitely. I apologize I didn't get to call it early on, but I wanted to first go to the first press conference that we had in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
And it was to establish the fact that all that we're doing is on behalf and in solidarity with the Emmett Till family. And so we wanted to first get with the Emmett Till family and let them give us a voice and a guidance as to which direction that we were supposed to be going. And so with Priscilla Scott, who is the cousin of Emmett Till and the Emmett Till Foundation, we did a press conference in Jackson at 2:30 today, and her sentiments were simply that they want the warrant of Carolyn Bryant to be issued, right. And they want the state representatives to do what they're supposed to do in order to make that happen. So out of solidarity, we came together on behalf of the families to support them. And then we came on to Greenwood with Brother Malik Zulu Sabaz, who represent a national organization and a national movement, right, to show solidarity to this. And so what came out of that was something that our brother Kareem Kamal did, which was around the petition that the LaFleur County citizens are asked to sign a petition that will force the state district attorney to do something, and if not, then we can do other moves to move him out of that or to bring and ask for another district attorney to take that position. But that's one of the major strategies that we wanted to talk about, because we don't want to just be there and just talk about something right there, but we want to have a strategy. We want to talk about the justice or else, what is the or else. And so we talked about that along with what we're trying to do with the LOC moving forward with our 2024 Freedom Summit project that we're working on.
Yes, sir. Brother Kareem, man, thank you. Thank you for calling. So, Brother Kareem, as I understand it, as Brother Patrick reported, the district attorney there is one of our brothers. And and according to Brother Patrick, and I'm sure brother is accurate, but I just, some of our listeners, brothers, I want them to hear it again, because I'm sure you're going to give me the same report, that he is not too amenable to carrying out or executing the warrant.
Absolutely. And that's one of the major, Dwayne Richards is the district attorney name. And he's also a district attorney for Washington County as well. And so we find him not eager to
get the one out on her, but when we look at his record, he's eager to send our brothers and sisters to prison for for issues that normally they could get probation or have other alternatives. I'm in a court right now with him dealing with a young brother that he's trying to send away for a long period of time based on, and this brother has a mental illness situation. And so that's what we're really talking about. Not only is he refusing to go along with and try to execute that warrant, but he definitely jumps up and try to make sure that our people are locked down. So we want to say to our people in Mississippi, we got to galvanize ourselves and get those individuals out of that. That's what the justice or else means.
Yes,
if we want to do something differently, we got to galvanize and make a change ourselves.
Man. Brother Kareem, I want you to know, man, and I want to use the time wisely that we have you, and I want to get Brother Kenneth in if he has a question for you as well. This podcast, as I expressed to Brother Patrick, we established it, and I think I shared this with you, brother, to use as a platform for the various organizations throughout the state of Mississippi in particular, and the Delta in general, whereby our people can come, those who struggle, to get their message out, to keep us abreast of what's going on. In other words, establish a communication network so our people will know. So, because one of the things that Brother Patrick expressed, man, was he said, you'd be surprised at how many of our people in Mississippi that just don't know what's going on. So it's on us, brother. We can't expect other news organizations, other mediums and whatnot. We have to establish these lines of communications. We have to build our own communication network whereby people like yourself can come on and give a report on LOCs and how they're going, and other organizations. We mentioned YAGA, of course, the Black Liberation Movement, and others. Each of our sister satellites, all the way down in Jackson with Brother Student Minister Abram, further down in Hattiesburg with Brother Kazim, and coming on back up to Greenwood with Brother Bassel, and Greenville with yourself and Brother Student Minister Larry, and as well Tupelo with Brother Conway. So that's what we're trying to do, brother. And we certainly thank you for coming on. Anything you want to share before we part, brother? Go ahead, Brother Kareem.
Yes, again, I just want to thank you, brother, for you have the right plan. Now, Ms. Parker told us that in 2015, we got to control our own narrative. We got to tell our own story. So these are the platforms by which we have the opportunity to do that in. And we pray that using that platform would help galvanize our people to understand as the LOC. We're not an organization, but we are a conglomerate of organizations working collectively. We are the Nation of Islam. We're the NAACP. We're the New Black Panther Party. We're in COBA. We're in Buck. We're 100 Black Men. We're the African American Episcopal Church. We're all those organizations, progressive, working collectively together. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us, our unity is more powerful than any nuclear bomb. So when we come together, we will be making a change. So we thank you for your opportunity and your venue to give us opportunity to make those reports and get that out to our people.
Yes, sir. Brother Kareem, if you would, man, send word out down in the Delta, man. You can use my email as a point of contact for those brothers and sisters, because we certainly want to get them in. We're broadcasting every Thursday, man, at 7 p.m. And of course, a part of what we do is going to be dealing with the prisons down in Mississippi. And Brother Kenneth is spearheading. He's the tip of the spear where that is concerned up in the northern part. Go ahead, brother.
And if I may just briefly, I definitely would like to come back on, as I mentioned at the beginning, to talk about Freedom Summit 24, what that looks like, and how we're galvanizing to start talking about having freedom schools and others to duplicate the 1964 Freedom Summit. In 2024 will be 60 years, and the LLC is spearheading that. So we would like to come back on and talk some more about that. So thank you.
No doubt, brother. Definitely. You certainly, and I'll get with you, brother. You know, we know how to communicate, and we'll establish that date and make that happen. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you, dear brother. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Praise be to Allah. That was our brother Kareem Muhammad. the LOC guru, as I call him, down there in Greenville, Mississippi. We thank Allah for him. And Brother Kareem, if you're still listening, man, give Brother Student Minister Larry our love and greetings. I was intending to say that before we parted. Brothers and sisters, we're about 10 minutes out from the end of tonight's broadcast. We certainly thank you, all of you, for tuning in. We thank our brother Patrick for calling in and giving us a report. And we thank our brother Kareem for calling in and giving us a report. And most importantly, we thank you, the listening audience, that take time out of your day to tune in to our broadcast. And certainly, brothers and sisters, we were wanting to make this broadcast substantive. As Brother Kenneth mentioned, yes, we can point out the problems, but we want to bring to bear some solutions and some ideas that can help alleviate the suffering that we see in our communities. So there you have it. There you have it. Any parting shots, Brother Kenneth?
I think you all covered it, brother. You know, every time I listen to our brother Kareem, he's a supreme organizer.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that we've learned how to establish organizations, you know, whether they're nonprofit or LLC or whatever, but we still don't know how to really organize. And sometimes when you have someone that's a master technician, so to speak, then he's the kind of brother that just wants us to come together, have unity, because like he said, our unity is more powerful than a nuclear bomb. So sometimes we don't really understand how to have functional unity, because sometimes in our minds we think unity means conformity, and it's not. Right. So he has a way with the LOC, and he has been successful, and he has the spirit to go to different places and teach. He also has a manual.
Yes.
And so when we get him back on, you know, which is necessary, you know, and he can go through all of that, you know. I'm just waiting on him to come down to Holly Springs.
You took it right out of my head. He's coming to Holly Springs, brother, and we're going to do a seminar.
And drop that bomb, because I think it's the time is right. And I go back because Brother Patrick said something that, you know, history is cyclical.
Right.
We're back at Emmett Till. And that was the event where people just say, hey, enough is enough. And that started in 1955. You had with Rosa Parks.
Right.
And then in 1955, we in the Nation of Islam hold that year to be very significant.
Very
because
significant.
That was the year in which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan began this journey.
That's right.
And has taken us. And so I don't think it's an accident.
No, sir. I don't either.
We're right back at this point of history. And sometimes you take the first, you know, examination, so to speak.
You'll fail it.
And you don't fail, you fail it, and you get a makeup test.
Come on.
That second examination.
Yes, sir.
You know, so if you can refer to the first one and see where you messed up.
Come on, brother.
And correct those mistakes.
Exactly.
And 9 times out of 10, you'll pass.
You'll pass.
That second time. So let's pass the second time.
Yes, sir,
let's
man.
Get it right this time, brother.
Man, look,
that's all I have.
Come on, look. Hey, look. Hey, we got to get that an applause. We certainly got to get that an applause, brother. That's very well put, and we have to acknowledge that. Brothers and sisters, look, we only have about 7 minutes left in tonight's broadcast. You're listening to the Mississippi on the Move podcast. We have had a great time, a great discussion, but we want to leverage these discussions into action. And as Brother Kareem put it, and as Brother Kenneth echoed it, the ability to establish organizations, we do that all the time, but the ability to organize in such a way that we are effectively organized, whereby we can change some of the realities under which we struggle. So brothers and sisters, all of us have to take on part of it. And from my student minister Abdul Shahid Muhammad of Mosque number 55 in Memphis, Tennessee, he would say to us, many hands make light work.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Brother Shahid, before we go,
yes, sir.
We have some upcoming events that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
If you let the listening audience know about what's going on in and around Holly Springs and points in between?
Oh, yes. Well, one that I know for sure, we're going to be celebrating the 160th birth anniversary of Ida B. Wells, Reverend Leona Harris of the Ida B. Wells Museum that's located at 220 Randolph Street. Going to be at the Multipurpose Center on Saturday, the 16th. You may want to contact the Ida B. Wells Museum, go online, and there's information on how to participate, the tickets that are available. These are the legacies. These are the people of our history whose legacy and memory and narrative have to be kept alive, and we are responsible. Otherwise, brothers and sisters, those who don't have her best interest at heart will take over the museum. You know, they did it here in Memphis with the Lorraine Motel. They'll monetize it, and then they will be the primary beneficiaries of the monetization of the legacy of our great ones. So more information, we'll be giving information each week, each broadcast until the event actually takes place. Is there anything else that I missed, brother? Something else going on I need to mention?
No, but I think I better bail you out because last weekend, the International Fashion Show that was held in Chicago.
Please bail me out, man.
Yeah, Sister Kareem Muhammad on Lisa Designs. And we've been working together, and it was fabulous. It's also highlighted in this week's final call.
Yes.
It just so happened there's a few sisters on there.
That they give me, man. Please, thank you for bailing me out of that one, man.
You know, who made the cover of the articles, sisters, representing high civilization and high modest fashion.
Yes.
None other than your wife, Sister Shahid and Muhammad.
She was in there.
Muhammad,
Sister Teresa.
Sister Donna, Sister Carolyn, Sister Coretta Muhammad, and all the sisters from Memphis and the surrounding areas that went up and enjoyed themselves, had a wonderful time, looked beautiful, and it was a great event. So get your final call this week, and you can look at some of the pictures, and I think they'll probably be running some for the next several weeks. So we want to thank Sister Carmen for putting that on, and it's very difficult when you're putting on an event of that magnitude, especially we as Black people. We don't have the sponsorship that some of these other people have. And so what they tend to do is to make a lot of promises, and then they back out of the promises, and they leave us holding the bag. So we have to always support our own and give our people the opportunity to make good on on what it is that they're trying to make good on, because man, we need those kind of things. I watched some of those things came over about some of these fashion shows, and it's just ridiculous. So we're better than that.
Come on.
And so I'm glad we had something like that, and Black folks, we know we need to step out and dress up and do many things. So there's going to be many events in the next several months that we're going to have the opportunity to support.
Yes, sir.
So we give our hard-earned money and our time and support to so many other people. Let's start learning how to give that support to one another.
That's right. And with that said, Brother Kenneth, you brought this to my mind. Those in our listening audience, let me get some shout outs. Sister Patsy is on. Sister Tammy is on. Sister Audrey is on. Brother Najee is on. Brother William is down there in West Point listening. And my wife is on. Sister Shahida. Brother Najee down in Tupelo, Mississippi. Brother or Sister Pickens is on. We're asking you all to spread the word. Tell a friend and tell another friend. Every Thursday, 7:00 p.m., tune in to the Mississippi on the Move podcast. So those who are listening, tell everybody how to log in onto Podbean, how to download and log in. And those that are listening, right quick, we got a couple of minutes left. Type in a 1 if you agree with what I'm saying. I'm watching the screen. Just type 1 and hit enter. Type 1 and hit send. Type 1 and hit send if you agree that you should tell a friend to tell another friend about the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Oh, there they go. They coming in. Sister Patsy, she like 1. And Sister Patsy is on deck. Others, my Sister Audrey done type 1, and we got Brother William 1, 1, 1. Come on, man. And we also, Brother William 1 and 2 and 3 times. So, brothers and sisters, thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. And we are at 8:29. We probably got about 30 seconds left. We're going to make these public announcements, and when we return, we will be getting out of here.
Mississippi on the
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reporting?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your number one free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
And that's going to do it for this night's edition of the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Once again, thank everyone for tuning in and for our callers that called in. Once again, I'm your brother, Abdul Shahid Muhammad.
And I'm your brother, Kenneth Muhammad.
And we leave you as we came before you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Mississippi on the move.
Let's go! Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields are waiting the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master plan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the Final Call. Follow Farrakhan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the